Now, Daf Nun Vav Amid Beis, Ibra Malkat. The truth is that you are destined to be a king. The Ilav Malkat. If you wouldn't be destined to be a king, Lo Mibsor Yushalayim B'Yodech. The Almighty would not allow you to destroy Yerushalayim. And how do I know this? And again, Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai is sort of like assuming that Yerushalayim will be destroyed because after the 3 years of famine, the fate of Yerushalayim was already sealed. Tichsiv, the pasuk says in Yeshayahu, foretelling the fall of Sancherib, Valvanon be'adir yipol, and Levanon shall fall to the mighty one. V'ein adir elamelech, and the word adir, the mighty one, must be interpreted as a king. How do I know this? Tichsiv, a pasuk in Yirmiyah, v'haya adiro mimenu, and their mighty one shall be one of them. Their ruler shall emerge from their midst. So a ruler, namely a king, is called a mighty one, adiru. So therefore, when it says that Valvanon ba'adir yipol, it's referring to a king. Ein Levanon el beis hamikdash, and the word Levanon here in the pasuk Valvanon ba'adir yipol is a reference to the beis hamikdash, because it says shenemar hahar hatov hazeh Valvanon. So when it says in the pasuk Valvanon ba'adir yipol, and the Levanon shall fall to a mighty one, it means that the Beis Hamikdash will be conquered by a king. Now, as far as your second accusation, why didn't I come to you till today? Biryune de is ben lo shavkina. The Biryune amongst us did not let us leave the city. Amalei. So Vespasian says to Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai, Ilu chavis shel dvash u'durakon barach aleh. So we have a chavis, which is a barrel of honey, and a dangerous snake is pursuing the honey. Let's say he's wrapped around this chavis. Lo hayu shovrin es hachavis b'shvil durakon. Wouldn't they break the chavis because of the snake? So the snake will go away. You should have destroyed the walls of your city so that the Baryoni could be driven out. In other words, the Roman forces would be able to enter the city and expel the Baryoni. And Ishtik, Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai was silent. Kori alei Rav Yosef Itamer of Yakiva, they quoted the pasuk Meshiv Chachamim Achar V'Daitam Yisakel. God turns wise men backwards and makes their thinking foolish. So somehow HaKadosh Baruch Hu took away from Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai the ability to respond. And that's called Meshiv Chachamim. Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai should have responded to Vespasian, in the case of the dangerous snake who's in pursuit of a keg of honey, Shaklina tzvasa v'shaklina leili d'rakon v'katlina le. We would have taken out svata, tongs, to grab hold of the snake, and we would kill the snake. We would have therefore saved the entire chavis of dvash. So Vespasian was saying that they should destroy the city walls, and then the Baryoni would be expelled. And Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai should have responded that they were waiting for an opportunity to drive out the Baryoni without having to destroy the city. They would leave the chavis. Adahachi asa prisk Pristika alei miromi. Okay, a messenger that was sent to Vespasian arrived from Rome. Amar le, and he says to Vespasian, Hum de misle Caesar, fi amri hanu chashivi de Romi lo sivach beresha. Arise, for the Caesar has died, and the dignitaries of Rome have declared that there was a decision to appoint you as the leader. Havisayim chad misani. Vespasian was wearing only one shoe. He attempted to put on the other shoe, it didn't go on. He attempted to take the one shoe that he had on off, but it wouldn't come off. Omar, he turns to Rabbi Yochanan, hi, what's going on? Amalei, Rabbi Yochanan responded, Lo titztayer shmua tova asya lech. I guess what it means is that you heard such a besora tova, right? A shmua tova. And as a result, the body begins to swell. And that's why, you can't put on your other shoe. Dichsiv, as the pasuk says in Mishlei, shmua tova tedashen etzem. Good tidings fatten the bones. Elamai takanta, what's your remedy? Lese inish the lo miyasva daitav mina v'lichlif kamach. Find a man who you dislike. Make sure that he comes and passes in front of you, and that's going to cause the swelling to subside. How do I know this? That Siv, based on a pasuk in Mishlei, v'ruach nechea tiyabish goren, a broken spirit dries the bones. But when you'll see this person who you dislike passing in front of you, your high spirits will be broken and your feet will return to their normal size. Amalei ayel, Vespasian did this, and his shoe went on. Amalei, Vespasian said to Rabbi Yochanan Zakkai, since you're such a wise person, why don't you come to me until today? Amalei, Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai responded to Vespasian, Philo Amri Loch, and didn't I answer this question before? Rabbi Yochanan had said that the Baryoni amongst us would not let us leave the city. Amalei, Vespasian said to him, Anonami Amri Loch. I also answered you. What does that mean? That you should have broken the walls of the barrel, and the dvash would have gone out. And here also, you should have broken the walls of Yerushalayim so that the Romans would be able to kill the Biryonim. So your argument, Rabbi Yochanan, that you waited and didn't come till today is not a good argument. Amalei, Vespasian said to Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai, Mezil azilna ve'inish achrina mishadron. I'm going back to Rome. I'm going to send another person to take my place. You can request from me something and I'll give it to you. Give me Yavna and its chachamim. In other words, spare the city of Yavne, and therefore you would be sparing also the Chachamim that reside in Yavne. Vishushilta de Rabbi Gamliel, and also spare the family of Rabbi Gamliel. Right, Rabbi Gamliel, who would be eventually the Nasi, and Rabbi Yochanan Zakkai requested that Rabbi Gamliel's family be spared because he wished to preserve the royal line of Malchus Beis David. The Asvasa de Masyon Leila Rebbe Tzadok, sorry, and send doctors from Rome to cure Rabbi Tzadok. Because as a result of 40 years of fasting, his intestines had shrunk to such a degree that he was unable to digest solid food. Here's a note, he says, by destroying Yerushalayim and the temple, the Romans thought that they would break the back of the Jewish people. Rabbi Yochanan Zakkai, realizing that the Romans would not spare anything that might be constructed as a source of authority for the Jewish people, he asked for something whose value Vespasian would not perceive, the small town of Yavne and its community of scholars. He also asked for Rabbi Gamliel, the young son of the previous Nasi, to be spared. And the Nasi had, to this point in history, not served as a political leader, but merely as the head of the Sanhedrin. By saving the scholars and the Nasi of Sanhedrin, Rabbi Yochanan Zakkai was able to reconstitute under the very eyes of the Romans the true heart and soul of the Jewish people, the Torah authority as represented by Sanhedrin. This would take place shortly after the destruction of the temple. Korele Rav Yosef v'Tamer Rabbi Akiva Meshiv Chachomim Achor v'Daitom Yisakel. God turns wise men backwards and makes their thinking foolish. Rabbi Yochanan should have said to Vespasian, L'shavkinu hadoz zimna. Let them alone this time. Spare Yerushalayim. So why didn't Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai request the salvation of Yerushalayim? Whose sub Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai thought, Dilma kuli hailo ofi. Vespasian might not fulfill a great request like this one. And at the end, they won't even get a small measure of salvation. So he requested smaller favors. Asva de Masyon Leila, so the doctors who cured Rabbi Tzadok Maihi. What was the treatment? Yoma Kama Ashkiyua Maya Depari. The first day they fed him water in which that there was bran that was soaked in the water. L'mochar Maya Desipu. The next day they fed him water in which a mixture of coarse bran and flour had been soaked. And L'mochar on the third day, Maya de Kimcha. They fed him water in which some flour was mixed. So they gradually increased the thickness of the liquid. Ad de Rava Mea Purta Purta. Until bit by bit his intestines widened. Azal Shadre Letitus. Vespasian went to Rome and he sent Titus to take charge of the military campaign against Yerushalayim. He Amar E Elohemo Tzur Chasyu Bo. And he shall say, where is their God, the rock in which they sought refuge? A pasuk in Dvarim. Zeh Titus HaRasha. This is a reference to Titus. Shacheref v'gidev klapimal. He profaned and blasphemed against the one above. Ma asa. What did he do? Tafaz zona biyodo. V'nichnas lebeis kodshei hakadoshim. V'hitzia sefer Torah. He spread out a Torah. V'over alei avera. And he committed his sin upon it. V'notal sayif. He took a sword. V'gider es haparoches. And he slashed the paroches. Blood was seen bubbling out of the paroches because Savar Harag Atzmo. Titus mistakenly thought that he had killed himself. Now Rashi says that this is a euphemism, a Lashon Sakinor, and it's referring to God. In other words, Titus thought he had killed God. Shenemar, as the pasuk says in Tehillim, Shagu tzorecha bekerev moadecha samu osos osos. Your enemies, God, roared in the midst of your meeting place. They established their signs as true signs. Titus interpreted the bleeding as a sign that he had killed God. Abachanan Omer, Mika mocha chasin ya, Mika mocha chasin v'kashe, shata shomer ni utzo v'ni gufo shaloso rosha v'shosek. In other words, your restraint, God, is indicative of chasin, of your strength. You hear the insult, the blasphemy of Titus, and you remain silent. Tebei Rav Yishmael Tana, Mi kamocha be'elam Hashem, mi kamocha be'ilmin. Who is that like you amongst the mute ones? So what did Titus do next? Not alasa paroches. He took the paroches. V'asa kimin gargusni. He formed it in the shape of a wine carrier. Behavi kol kelim shebemigdash v'inicham bahem. He brought out all the utensils of the migdash and put into them. V'oshivam b'sfina, and he put them on a ship. Lelech lishtabech be'iro. So he intended to go and be praised for his triumph in his city. Shenemar, as the pasuk says, I think this is a pasuk in Koheles. Let's see. Ubechein ra'isi rishoim kvurim ubo. I saw wicked men who deserved to be buried, yet they came to destroy the temple. Umimkom kodsho yalechu, and they departed from that holy place. Vishtakhu ba'ir asher kain osu, but eventually they will be forgotten in the city of Yerushalayim regarding that which they had intended to do. No, I think kain osu doesn't mean they intended to do, but they indeed did it. Al tikri kvurim, don't read it buried, ella kvutzim, gathered. Al tikri vayishtakhu, they will be forgotten, ella vayishtabchu, they were praised. So then I saw wicked men gathered together. They came to destroy the temple. They departed from that holy place, and they were praised in the city in which they lived for that which they had indeed done. Ika Diamri, another version of what exactly happened, is Kfurim Mamish. We translate the word Kfurim literally as buried. Dafilu mili de mitamron igloilahon. Even hidden things were revealed to them. What does that mean? It means that even valuables that were hidden by the Jews were revealed to them. So it means then I saw wicked men with valuables that they had buried, etc. Omad Olav Nachshol Shabiyam Lutova. A hurricane at sea threatened to drown Titus. Omar, he declared, it seems that the power of the God of the Jews is in the water. This is Nachal Kishon. Now he's threatening to drown me in the waters of the Mediterranean Sea. If he's truly powerful, let him come up on dry land and wage war with me. Yotza Baskal v'Omer Rasha ben Beno Shel Esav HaRasha. Evil, son of evil, descendant of the evil Esav. Birya Kala Yeshli Bolomi. I have a puny creature in the world. V'Yitu Shma. It's a mosquito or a gnat. I don't know if you pronounce the G. A gnat. Amai Karli Birya Kala de Ma'alona Isla Umefarkalades. It has an entrance through which food is received, but it doesn't have an outlet through which the waste is excreted. Ola liabosha, ale liabosha, vitasa ima milchama. Go up on dry land and fight against this little puny creature. Ola liabosha, Titus ascended to the dry land. Ba yitush v'nichnas b'chotmo. This mosquito came in and entered through his nose. V'niker b'mocho sheva shanim. It picked at his brain for 7 years. Yom achad, one day, havi kacholef abava debei nafcha. He was passing through the doorway of a blacksmith. Shoma kal arzafta. And at that point, the gnat heard the sound of the hammer of the nafa. Ishtik, it fell silent. So I guess it means it was no longer picking at his brain. Omar ikatakanta. There's a remedy for me. Kol yoma maisu nafcha umachu kameh. So every day they brought another smith, a blacksmith, and they banged with their hammers in the presence of Titus. L'nachri yoevle arba zuzi. To the non-Jewish smith, he gave 4 zuzim. L'Yisrael omale mistayach dekachazis besanoch. It's enough that you see and witness the suffering of your enemies. So they weren't paid at all. Antalsin yomin adam avarachi. He did this for 30 days. Mikam v'ela came into dash. From then on, having grown accustomed to the sound of the hammering, the gnat became accustomed to it. And Tanya, Omer Avi Pinchas ben Aruva, Ani Ayisi ben Gdoli Romi, I was amongst the nobles of Rome. Ukshemes, and when Titus died, Patsu es mocho, they split his head open. Umatzavo kitzipar drar mishkal shnei sloim. They found a gnat inside of it that was like a swallow weighing 2 sellers. Now, Masechet Tanu, it was taught in a brisa. Kigozel ben shana mishkal shnei litrin. The gnat was like a 1-year-old pigeon weighing 2 litrin. Amar Abai Naktinon, we have a tradition, Piv shel Mechoshes v'tzipartiv shel Barza. Its mouth was of copper and its nails of iron. Kiyavika Maisi, when Titus was dying, Amalahu, he said to those who were present, Likluye lahu gavra, burn that man, meaning burn myself. Ulebadri lekimche ashiv yomi, and scatter his ashes over the 7 seas. You want to be cremated. So that the God of the Hebrews will not find him and stand him in judgment. Unkelis bar Clonicus barachachti the Titus. Onkelos was the son of Kilonicus and the son of Titus, his sister. Havaboyali Gure, he wanted to convert to Judaism. Ozal Askele Titus ben Negida. He went and raised the spirit of Titus through, what's called in English necromancy. Amalei, Onkelos asked him, Man chashav bahu alma, who is prominent in the world to come? Amalei Titus responded to Yisrael, Mahu di dabuke bahu. Should I join them and convert to Judaism? Amalei Titus responded, Milayu nefishim v'lo motzes l'kume. Their laws are numerous, you will not be able to fulfill them. Zil igri bahu alma. Go and attack them in this world. V'havis reisha. You will become a leader. Tichsiv hayu tzarel l'rosh. All of Israel's enemies have become leaders. Kol ha'meitzar l'Yisrael nasa rosh. Whoever persecutes the Jewish people becomes a leader. Amalei Onkelos responded, Dine dahu gavra b'mai. What is your punishment? Amalei, and Titus responded, b'mai de posik anafshe. I set for myself my own fate. Kol yoma machnishe le lekitme v'dainile. Every day, my ashes are gathered together and I'm judged. V'kolu le umevadru eshev Yomi. And then I'm buried in my ashes, and the ashes are scattered all over the sea. And the next part of the Agadita is about Onkelos, which in Mirz Hashem, here on the top of Daf Nun Zayin, we will learn tomorrow, Be'ez Hashem Yisborach. Have a great day.